Hello, this is wmpyr here to talk about this knife right here, the Karambit. Um, yeah, this is such a unique looking knife. It definitely stands out, and it's very, very popular today. And even back in the day, so over 10 years ago, like 13 or more years ago, it was already popular. And it was popular amongst the tactical people, and then it was also popular within the martial arts circles as well. So it had kind of like a double dose of popularity there. And I think the regular people also looked at it, and it's fascinating to look at. I mean, it has this tiger's claw and it has this loop right here. It's very interesting. Definitely not your normal knife. So for me, I was like, I never learned the karambit when I was training in Filipino martial arts. So I thought to myself, I need to learn this knife. So popular. I need to make sure I understand it. And I bought many karambits at that time, several karambits, and I got to work. I started practicing with it and trying to get to know it and understand it fully. So the karambit is an Indonesian silat. Silat is an Indonesian martial art, so it is a silat weapon. Um, and I train in Filipino martial arts. So in the Filipino martial arts, we don't do this. Now there are a lot of Filipino martial arts schools that cross train or they're combined with silat. So if you're part of those schools, then you may have learned and seen a karambit, but the way that you're using it probably comes from the silat method. So traditionally in the Philippines, they don't teach this. So to me, this was foreign. And I was like, well, I don't know how to use this. So the way that I know how is the Filipino martial arts way. So let me use it like that first. So that's what I did. The only other way was for me to find the Silat school and go there and learn. But I didn't have any accessible in my area at the time. So I just did what I knew, which was use it the Filipino martial arts way. And that comes down to your angles of attack and arm weaving. Arm weaving is like the heaven six. So we do it this way, boom, boom, boom. And then we have the angles of attack. So use it that way and not a problem. That's what we're taught to do. You learn the angles of attack and arm weaving with the sticks, single stick and double stick, and now you transfer that to just about any weapon and even improvised weapon that you can find. And as long as you could hold it comfortably with one hand, then you'll be able to use just about anything using those techniques, those skills. And so, karambit fits right in. It wasn't a problem. But, you know, the karambit is famous for the reverse grip. So I was like, okay, what about the reverse grip? How do I use it that way? And in the Filipino martial arts, we do train with knives, so sticks mainly, but we also train with knives. We also do empty hand. But so with the knives, pretty much going from stick to knife, angles of attack and arm weaving, not a problem. Not a problem. It's shorter, but it's not a problem. You go to reverse grip, we don't really do it. The only times we do reverse grip, we do it, but not with the angles of attack or arm weaving. The only time we really do reverse grip is for close range partner drills. So when you're doing something like the feeding 1-for-1 type stuff, you can do reverse grip. And I have done it and I've seen other people do it. That's really the only time that I've seen people go into reverse grip. So angles of attack, arm weaving, formally, I've never seen it being taught. Maybe it's because it's just they expect you to just be able to use it, no problem. Like just, hey, it's the same thing. However, when I watched videos of people teaching reverse grip, even if they come from a Filipino martial arts background, they're doing something different with it. It's not like, heaven six type stuff or angles of attack. So now it looks very out of place. And watching them, they look awkward. So I'm like, what's going on? And I watched the some of the Silat people using it, and it looks awkward to me too. So I felt like there was something not right with the reverse grip. So for me, I just kept following the Filipino martial arts theory, which was what you do with the sticks, you do the same way with any other weapon, as long as you could hold it with one hand, as long as it's a one-handed weapon. So I did the exact same thing that I did in standard grip, which is, like I said, is heaven six type stuff, angles of attack. So now I'm doing it with the reverse grip. So I'm doing the exact same thing, boom, 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 boom. And then, of course, angles of attack. And guess what? It works fine. So I was like, I don't know what the hiccup is. Maybe they just haven't done that enough, or they didn't follow the theory, or whatever. But for me, it was easy. It just made total sense. I'm just using Filipino martial arts logic, their theory, and it works great. It works like a charm. So I was like, well, let's make sure. So I tested it, cutting cardboards, doing it on tires, and do not have any issue with it whatsoever. So now the next thing, and that's what I discovered, and that's what I've been teaching to you guys on YouTube. So essentially, this is not normally covered in your traditional Filipino martial arts. So what I'm teaching you guys, I hate to say this, but it's unique. It is the Filipino martial arts way of using the Karambit, which, like I said, is not normally taught. What you see on YouTube, they come from a silat background, okay, when they're teaching this stuff, okay? So that's, to me, different, and different from what I'm doing. So now the next part was, there's something with the Karambit, another thing that I'm missing, which is called the extension, the extended grip, right? So in this extension, how do you use it? So that was another thing that I had to tackle, because like I said, the Karambit, it doesn't exist in Filipino martial arts. So I was like, well, using the Filipino martial arts theory, we would use it the exact same way, angles of attack and arm waving. So let me do that. So I did do that, and it worked fine. I didn't have a problem with it. Yeah, of course I had to practice, but not a problem. So then I started thinking, okay, well, I got to test it out. So cardboard boxes, all kinds of different shapes, tons of cardboard, just going, repeatedly training for, multiple times a week, and doing this for months and months, right? Not a problem at all. I'm just cutting through and going, wow, this is crazy. Now, one thing that I did discover that I want to share with you guys is, in the extension grip, you see people, they flip the knife here into the extension. So they're holding it in the reverse, they flip it to the extension, and then they put it to the neck, and they pull, and they rip the neck out, right? So this is very common. It doesn't have to be the neck. It could be other parts of the body, but it's like 1, 2, and put it on the neck, 2, and then 3 rip, right? And I'm watching people teach it that way, and I'm going, education-wise, not a problem. To learn the technique, not a problem. Real life application-wise, I was like, that's not the way you would do it. It's impossible. It's not going to happen that way. So then how would you do it in real life? I found out in real life, it would be like that. It's like a freaking yo-yo. You use this becomes like an extra joint, and it's a whipping motion. So from there, you pull it back like that, and that's your cut. So you're holding it right here, and that's how you're not gonna flip, place it, and then pull. No, no one's gonna wait for you that long, right? So I discovered that, and so the next part was, okay, let me test it out. Cardboard. So practice it on cardboard. Lord and behold, flipping it around like this, doing the blender, doing the flail one hand, blender 2 hands, and doing this new like yo-yo type movement, and I'm shredding the cardboard, and it works great, okay? So I was surprised. I didn't think it was going to be possible, and if you're doing these circular motions, can you really be accurate, and is it even possible to cut from there as you're just whipping it and throwing it? Yes, you can. With practice, it's absolutely possible. So I was very surprised. So I taught this to you guys on YouTube. Now, then a while later, I decided to test it out on a tire. Okay, so This is I have two types of tires mainly. One, the big ones that don't move, and then I have the smaller one that I could. It's on a chain, so it moves around. So I tested out on the tire. Why? The tire is extremely hard. The human body, we have soft parts like the cardboard. There's soft parts and there's hard parts. Okay, like where the skull is and stuff. And sometimes, a mixture of both. And with force in real life, you're in combat. So I may be going at them, they're coming at me. So now double force coming at each other. And so with force, with power involved, now things can become much, much harder. Like the surface, the impact can become strong. Just like water's soft, but if you're jump out of a flying helicopter and if it's high enough, that water is not going to feel soft. You could break bones and stuff. So kind of the same way, when you put force and impact in there, now all of a sudden things are not so easy to cut. It's not so soft. So that's why I also do the tire training. You can't just do cardboard. You can't just do leather and cloth. And you got to also train the blade with harder stuff and cut wooden boards and stuff like that. So I make sure to include that in my training to make my training more realistic. So when I did that, I was finding that there's different kinds of angles that happen, not so much when the tire is stationary, but the tire that's hanging from the chain, that one moves around, and now all of a sudden I'm hitting this hard thing, and I may not get the timing right because, they're moving too. So then all of a sudden I'm getting this kind of pressure onto my finger, and it's hurting my finger. So at that point, I'm going, this is a lot hard. It's possible, it's much harder than I thought. So the result is, just cutting to the chase, I'm telling you guys, I took it out of my arsenal. So using the Karambit in the extension, I don't do it anymore because of that. Now, in a real life situation, even though I will not do it, if I had to, for some reason, use the extension in a real life situation, am I confident that I could pull it off? And am I confident that I could not hurt myself and not hurt my finger like I did in training? Absolutely, because now I have that experience and knowledge and practice. I know when is the right time to do it, when is the wrong time to do it. But in a real life situation, there's going to be so many distractions and pressure and stress. And I don't want to be thinking about too many things. I want to keep it simple. So it's better for me to just remove it completely out of my arsenal and not worry about it. Okay, there's so many other things going on in a fight. There's so many techniques available to me anyway that if I remove this technique, it's not going to make or break me. So telling you guys, I no longer do the extension. It's possible to use effectively, and maybe someone in the world wants to spend more time than I did, and they want to perfect it, and now they could use it every time, and they're going to be awesome at it. I'm sure. I have no doubt. Me personally, I want to focus on other areas, and just for me, it wasn't worth it. So it's out of my arsenal. However, I do train it in practice. Why? Why do I train this in practice? Because the extension in practice, it helps me with flexible weapons, because when you use the Karambit in the extension, this right here is an artificial joint it creates, okay? So that kind of like is a nunchuck. We have two sticks and they're in the middle of the chain. That's an extra artificial joint kind of thing. So this falls into the category, the Karambit in the extension falls into the category of a flexible weapon. And I want flexible weapon skills. So whether it's my keys, baseball hat, belt, chain, t-shirt or jacket or something, I want flexible weapon skills. I will use it in real life situations. So for that reason, I practice this, okay? But to use an actual Karambit in the extension, no, I won't do that, okay? So just want to make that clear. I hope this makes sense to you guys. And this is my personal choice, my personal path. I'm sharing with you my knowledge and experience, but you know, you may go, like I said, you may go in a different path. You may go, no, the extension grip, I want to master that so that I could use that in real life. Well, good for you. I'm not saying it's not possible, or I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm just saying for me personally, I wanted to go in a different direction. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.